Salam and Namaste. Namaste, sir. How are you?
Madam, fine.
Me, Annie Khan, and I'm with Dharmesh Mehta, sir, today, and we're going to talk about Saturn and Jupiter conjunction. So first, I'm going to tell you about Saturn. Saturn is restriction, hurdle, boundaries, weaknesses, fear, our limitations, hurdles, times, as we call it, call, time, and death, fear, melancholy, and somehow pessimism, labor class, service class, persistence, hard work, and dedication towards something. And Jupiter is Guru, teacher of philosophy, and it gives us a wider perspective of life. It gives us a broader mindset, philosophy, religion, optimism, faith, belief, enthusiasm, luck, and all the positive things related to luck, as we can as Jupiter is expansion too. So here is two different sides, like Jupiter and Saturn. We can see two different sides of them. One is expansion and the other one is contraction. One is optimism and the other one is pessimism. One is enthusiasm and faith, hope. The other one is fear and somehow we can say melancholy or pessimism. And hurdles, one is luck, the other one is giving you freedom, and the other one is restrictions, hurdles. So Jupiter is guru or teacher of philosophy and religion. And I also call Saturn a teacher because it teaches you something. Like whatever house it sits in, it always gives you a lesson. But their way of teaching is very different. As Jupiter way of teaching is very softer and sweeter. Like the way Jupiter teaches actually put you in a comfort zone and makes you really relaxed. Like sometimes people get too relaxed in their comfort zone. And on the other side, Saturn, it actually makes you wide awake and alert. And it makes you, it actually teach you somehow, sometimes some pain is involved in the teaching, because the Saturn way of teaching is strict and hard somehow, different from Jupiter. As Jupiter makes things expand, and the things in Jupiter's realm is also make us expand, like knowledge. It makes our brain, our knowledge, our thinking expand and broad. And also Jupiter is our kids. So when we have kids, also our rank improve, and kind of our kids are also our part of us in this world. So we also somehow expand, we also grow when we have kids. Also we say Jupiter is in a woman's chart, it's a husband, and it denotes also marriage. So when we got married, we also grow. So all the things, and religion too, like when we are spiritually connected, we feel we are expanded, like our faith is expanded from this world. Like if we think that okay, this world, this is life and death, then it's end. If we're thinking we have faith and we have some religion, then we'll start thinking about okay, there must be life outside this world, there must be life outside life and death, there must be other realms, there are other things, other realms from this. But Saturn, on the other hand, it always push you to work day to day, like day to day routine work, and follow a routine timetable and be consistent. But when you are consistent about something and you are following a routine, Saturn force you to actually live in present time. Like Jupiter show you other realms, timelessness, and other realms from this world. But Saturn actually brings you back from other your scattered mind, your scattered thoughts. It takes you bring you back to the present time. When you are, because it's karma, the check and balance, the god make the check and balance for us, it's Saturn. So if we are thinking about karma, like whatever we do, we will have consequences. Then we'll be in present all the time, that okay, I'm going to do this, then later I'm going to have consequences, then I'll be alert doing whatever I'm doing. So if someone, like if something, if we have a bad, like maybe we had a sin and we are thinking about it a lot and not in the present, it means we are not in Saturn's realm yet, and we are not learning Saturn's lesson yet, or we are making like too much plans for future and not working in present. Still we are not working in Saturn's realm, and we are not understanding Saturn's lesson. It has to be, it will bring us to present time, alert, and knows whatever we are doing, we are going to have consequences. So Saturn somehow bring us back, contract us, all our scattered thoughts, all our scattered plans, it bring us back to the present time. And Jupiter, it always make us see other realms, faith, and other future planning, and um, uh, timelessness. So they are both different from each other, but one thing, to a few, they have few things common, and one thing very common is they are both righteous, and they do both law and order. Like Saturn is karma, so whatever we do will get the consequences. And Jupiter also is righteous, and it always do the right thing. So they are both, like if someone have this conjunction, they can go in law and order field, or they can work for, they'll be righteous, unless they have a debilitated Jupiter or debilitated Saturn, because Jupiter is faith. So if someone have a debilitated Jupiter, they'll not be able to see a bigger picture. Like in this world, when we see the news, we see, okay, there is earthquake, there is this, so many things are happening. Okay, so a person who have good Jupiter will think, okay, it's everything is a part of a bigger plan, bigger divine plan. So according to the plan, there is a world, and the world is going to end one day. It's a divine plan. But if someone's Jupiter is debilitated, they're going to see all negatives in there, and their faith will be somehow shaken by all the, even in their own life, there is something negative happen, they'll be thinking, oh my god, all the bad things are happening to me. So their faith will be always shaky, they won't be able to see a bigger picture. They'll be not able to accept the reality of things. Like whatever will happen, they'll not see the bigger picture, so they'll be narrow minded, they'll be always thinking, okay, only negatives are happening, and they'll not understand a bigger picture, so their faith will be shaky. And also, if Jupiter is debilitated, then the person will be less accepting, like to the other, if I'm in a group setting and there are other people of other religions, if I have a good faith in myself, other people are telling me about their religion, I'll be more accepting. It will not bother me that other people are telling about their faith, their culture, I'll be listening happily. But if my own faith is weak somehow, or my Jupiter is afflicted or debilitated, then I'll be offended by other people's religious views or their culture. I'll be thinking, okay, they're attacking me, I'll be less accepting. So Jupiter is more accepting to other people's point of view. Jupiter is more forgiving, more generous. Unless Jupiter is afflicted, then the person is going to be more conservative, and the person is going to be more strict towards his own view and not ready to listen to other people. And same thing with the Saturn. If Saturn is afflicted or debilitated, then the person is going to be too pessimistic, or they'll be prone to go to depression, because they'll be looking at things from a very narrow minded point of view. they'll be thinking everything in a very straight line, not be looking at a wider sense, and not be able to actually work hard to gain their to make their dreams come true. So they'll be not working hard and be always be in pessimism. So sir, please tell us about this conjunction in houses, please.
Yeah, very well broadly explained and very outer layout you have created. But basically, my angle is that astronomy teaches very much. And in astronomy also, Jupiter comes first and then Saturn comes as per the sequence of the planet. In days also, Thursday comes and then after the Saturday comes. In between, Friday is there. So what it teach in Dasha also, the Jupiter Dasha comes and then it follows by the Saturn. In life, we have three kind of teachers in our life. First, who in the nursery, who teach us only the words, ABCD, or how to frame the words. So they are all the Mercury people. Those who like to teach us how to speech word, how to utter the words. Then we have certain higher level, that is where they teach us the moral things and social things. That is a Jupiter, where the Guru role comes. You teach you learn the words, then this comes. And Jupiter will, as like your teacher or your professor or your college, they will give you a way out how to stay in the life. But the real Guru is a Saturn, where you really experiment. And that is a difference between the Jupiter and Saturn. And that is why after the Jupiter, the Saturn value comes. All that degree which we learn and earn from the university, like BCom or MBA or PhD, whatever n number of a degree we learn, that all the outcome of a Jupiter. But when we really go to the field, as like somebody become a MBBS, and when we try to practice, somebody become a LLB and try to practice law.
Right.
All this field, when you enter into the reality, the Saturn teach, where the Saturn comes. So Saturn is a reality, whereas Jupiter gives you the idea, what may be happen, what you can face, what is your view when certain things happen. So this is the difference between the Jupiter and Saturn, which one, both are the teacher, One is a actual teacher and one is a realist teacher. Realist means when you are really into the situation, there you face and there you value.
Then you learn that by your
Yeah,
experimenting.
yeah, it's Jupiter first teach you and then give you the certificate degrees. And after the degree, when you start practicing, when you start facing the people, then you learn more. And that is a Saturn. And that is why all the theoretical knowledge, although they are very important, but they have a limitation, whereas Saturn has no limitation. People may learn till age of 25, 30 at least, by any master degree or double degree.
Right.
But throughout the life till he lives 70, 80s, 90, he learns so many things. So that is a expansion of a Saturn. And we know, as you may rightly mentioned, that Jupiter is the expansion and Saturn is synchronized. Yeah, the synchronized means it will make you inward, whereas the Jupiter makes you the outward, how to deal with the society. So now, as today also the Jupiter Saturn are together, they have a bonding till April 2021 or till the end of 21. They are together. So it is very important things how to deal with the Jupiter Saturn. And people will see that after every 20 years they have a conjunction, like Jupiter Saturn 61, 81, 2001, and now in 2021 again they both will be coming to the same sign. So it has some value. At the moment we see that the Jupiter is more powerful, even though he is just entered, but he entered in his home, whereas Saturn is already settled since 2 years, 2.5 years, but he's in the guest appearance. Right. When the next sequence comes, where the Saturn will come to his own house and Jupiter enter in the Saturn house, this is the best yoga one can see that's a Neechabanga Rajyog. And I've seen in 61, 81, 2001, and now in 2021, those who will born, they will have a Jupiter debilation, but being Neechabanga Rajyog will be happening with the Saturn. So
Right.
we'll see to it that in each sign or each house, when they are together, how it is. And in the yoga part, we have learned that Jupiter and Saturn brings the Adhyatmic Yoga. There are two Adhyatmic Yoga appears in the chart. One is the Sun and Jupiter. They also make the Adhyatmic Yoga. That's a spiritual yoga. And one another is the Jupiter Saturn. When they conjunct, it also makes the spiritual yoga. The difference between the Sun and Jupiter, it's he become a guru, and people know it,
Right.
and they praising. They're praising their name, fame, and recognition are there
Because of sun.
because the sun, because
Right.
of the backing of a sun. Whereas in the
Right.
Jupiter Saturn, they are a real people who teach you in the life, and they are not available everywhere. You may see the sages, you may see all the rishi who are doing the tapasya in the cage, and they come sometime out and they give the gyan. So these are
Right.
the rare people, and this is that is why the Jupiter Saturn combination, whenever it is there, it's a very rare combination because highly socially involved planet Jupiter
Right.
and
Right.
highly individualist planet, that's a Saturn.
Right.
One want you to be into the family, into the society,
Right.
and one say then no, nobody's is your, you yourself is for yourself. So this
Right.
two kind of extremity, there are two kind of extremity. One is the Jupiter Saturn in the mode of a way of a life, and Mars and Saturn, because Mars need everything and Saturn don't give everything. So
Right.
that's two extremity there is there, and where we are discussing very beautiful, that's a Jupiter Saturn, and both are gurus, both are teachers.
Yes.
So when they both are together, where the prudent men go, see, prudent man is a person who has not to incline either side. You'll not go directly on the Jupiter side, cannot, because the Saturn is pulling, and he
Pulling.
cannot
Yeah.
totally turn into the Saturn side because Jupiter, the
It's going to be
responsibility,
good
the
balance,
duty.
sir.
Yeah. So that is why they are the prudent men. Irrespective of the sign, it is there. One has to see on the angle of that life, life path, that he is balancing two things. We
Right.
all know that Jupiter is a planet of a religious thing. When you go to the temple, when you go to the church, mosque, you pray something, you do certain acts like praying anything.
Right.
That's all the rituals.
The
This
rituals.
is a Jupiter. Yeah,
Right.
that's a Jupiter part. And when you go to the place and you meditate, or you place, you stay in your own place, your own home, and just meditate, where you don't need anybody. That's a Saturn. So see the extremity. One need a religiousness and one need a
Right.
spirituality. Maybe people are giving the wrong definition of spirituality. They say spirituality means only yoga. They are no. It's going inside, and religious
Right.
means to come outside. So that's a different dimension that Jupiter Saturn having. Now, what we are going to discuss here is I'll talk about that the Jupiter Saturn in Aries. In irrespective of the house it plays, we'll not discuss a house wise, but we'll discuss when they both are together, who
Right.
will dominate,
Right.
and accordingly the person has to understand that which side they have to balance, because the
Right.
other side has already been dominating.
Right.
Now you need to balance other side,
Right.
like in the case of a Aries. When we talk
Saturn
about
is
the Aries,
debilitated, sir.
yeah, where the Saturn is debilitated and where the Jupiter has a friendly home. It's a friend because of a
Right.
fiery sign. He has a very good sign. See, again, the element also speak very minutely thing. Jupiter, we all know, is a fire.
Fire. Yeah.
It's a fire. And when fire set or cease, or when it off, the fume comes. That's the Saturn, because Saturn is a airy.
Right.
So both a light air will extinguish the fire, and if there is a blow, it's a higher volume of air that can seize also the fire. So that's a combination of balancing thing one has to keep in the mind. So as
Right.
we are talking about the Aries, The Aries people having a more domination of a Jupiter because it's inclining toward the Jupiter, as a Saturn is not so comfortable in the Mars sign also, in fiery sign also,
And
as well as
significator is sun. So
stability.
Jupiter needs
Yeah,
sun. With all
yeah.
the knowledge,
So
it
it's
needs some
always
power.
support. Yeah, it will support Jupiter, not supporting the Saturn. So
Right.
what happened to them? They possess so many knowledge. Many times you will find a people, they possess so much knowledge, but in reality, in actual, they could not put into the reality. So this is the extremity they have. They possess a good knowledge because the Jupiter dominating. But being a Saturn debilitated here, and if Mars is seated here, it's a Nichebang Raju. That's an exception we can consider. But Saturn is not comfortable here. So less labor. Saturn is a labor, as you have
Right.
rightly said, is a labor. So he will not put the labor. He might be a good professor, but he cannot teach the practical things. He can only teach you the theoretical things, whatever there in the books, whatever the knowledge he possesses, but he will not lead you to the reality. So that's extremity. Now, what the person need to arrange, that he has to start putting some efforts. As the Saturn is debilitated, he should not give up the thing. He has to put, if he know 5 rules, at least one rule he has to put for himself. That
Right.
is things the planet teaches. That this is the limitation. Now you can act upon your limitation and you can overcome about your limitation. That's astrology really where that you come to your limitation and you try to overcome it. It's not a
Right.
destiny. The person, those who are only sitting on the destiny, cannot change, and then they suffer same thing in the next level. Now
Right.
talking about the Taurus, where the Saturn have a more say and where the Jupiter is not so comfortable. So this always they both will never be agree in the any sign. So what happened that here the Saturn is very friendly with the Venus. It's a Yogaraka in that ascendant itself, and
Right.
whichever the house it plays, the Saturn have a more say. So here the Jupiter also have a say, being is sitting in the another guru, because the Venus is also a guru of demons or Daitya we call, and Jupiter is a guru for the gods. So what happened that they being adjusting this, but here the knowledge part may be a very less or maybe not really being understood. See, many people are in academic, they cannot do well, but in reality, when they go to the
In
real
public
life,
relations,
they
especially,
perform.
it's very good. They are
Yeah, in
reliable
PR.
people. They are
See,
more
our
dependable.
ancestor, you see, our ancestor maybe learn four books, 5 books, not even completed SSC or degree, but still they rule.
Right.
Without the communication, like without there is having any even a telephone, they do the business with the overseas. So this
Right.
is where the Jupiter is there, but it's a very limited. But they learn with experience. So here the Saturn domination with the Venus, so they learn with their experience, whereas the Jupiter has a very less. So that the theoretical knowledge will be less, but maybe a practical
Right.
and experience wise, he might be a very wise and very knowledgeable person. So that
Right.
extremity is here there. Now talking about the Gemini, here also the Saturn has a more say, being it's a friendly house for the Saturn and not friendly sign as an enemy sign for the Jupiter. So what happened that here also he possesses so much knowledge. See, enemy sign people maybe misinterpret. Like if I get a fear about a dog, suppose that's an example that if I fear the dog, so whenever I'm passing through the street when there are so many dogs, I will not able to put my all the efforts. I'll be in the scare. So the
Right.
same planet wise also the when Jupiter seated in the enemy sign, that means he doesn't possess the knowledge. He possesses the knowledge, but he will not get his say. He will not get his chance to express his thing. The
Right.
same thing it is happen here, where his experience says, his communication says, because the Gemini, we all know they are good in the communication.
Right.
Maybe they possess the knowledge, but they might be doing certain other thing where the knowledge is not usable. Sometimes
Right.
it happens that the person has done the commerce, he has graduated from the commerce, but now doing the arts, now
Right.
performing the arts. So his commerce background, commerce knowledge has not been totally disappeared, but he has not chance to apply. There's a difference. You
Mhm.
possess and you don't get a chance to apply. So here what happens, your communication is very powerful. Your deeds itself says maybe your knowledge is not usable. So that's
Mhm.
happened to the Gemini when the Jupiter and Saturn together, where the Saturn has at least a say because of the friendly sign, whereas
Right.
Jupiter doesn't have any sign. Even though possessing the degree, there are so many people possessing a different degree, but they are performing the things in their different field. So it's like
Right.
that. Coming to the Cancer sign, when we see that Jupiter Saturn together in the Cancer sign, what happened here? The again the Jupiter gives a higher say, being it's exalted. It's
Right.
being exalted, is being a friendly sign of a Jupiter. Jupiter has a more say. So emotion attached with the knowledge. Now see, emotion we all know as a Cancer, as a
Right.
moon. Emotion attached with the knowledge. So they give the knowledge on the emotional level. See, like our all the gurus, dharma gurus, religious saint, they give the knowledge or things, religious things with the emotions. So we
Emotion.
follow them. Here, the Saturn has a very less say because it's an enemy sign. So it has
Right.
a very less say where the deeds may not be performed. See, the example best is that there are so many people who listen YouTube, who listen so many good songs related to religion things. They learn so many things. They
Right.
know also so many things, but cannot practice. See,
Right.
they know this is right, this is wrong, but they cannot practice. For practice, you need a Saturn. The
Right.
Saturn confirmation gives you the practice. Here, the person fail in the practice, but he possesses so much knowledge. He know this is right and this is wrong, but at the time of performance, he cannot apply it. So that's the difference you may see in the Cancer, where the knowledge and the emotion on the higher level, whereas the practicality or the applicability or the reality is very less.
Right.
So that's also extremity we can
Because
see
sir,
in the
Cancer is
Cancer.
fourth house, and fourth house is a comfort zone, and Cancer is not, and
Yeah,
Saturn is not a place for comfort zone. It don't like
it's
comfort
not
zone.
comfortable.
It wants you to come out of comfort zone and work. So at home, when you are
Yeah,
in comfort zone, you are the most relaxed. You don't want to work
yeah,
hard. You don't want to follow
to work
routine.
hard.
So
Yes,
that's
sir.
why
Yes, very right.
Saturn is going to
Yeah,
be weak.
not comfortable. Yeah,
Right.
it's not been comfortable. Now, seeing the Leo, here also again the story repeat with the Jupiter positiveness and the Saturn. Obviously, it's his
Right.
father sign, but not being good terms with the father. So we
Right.
all know that Saturn is the first child of a son. So
Right.
that is why when the first child comes, he goes further, and then the Jupiter come, then the Mars, then likewise. That is why the Saturn has gone so long way, and that is why it takes a long time to complete its orbiting to the sun. When we
Right.
see the Kalpurusha, if you see the Kalpurusha, there are eight houses at death. We all know it's at death. So after the death, what you have to do? That planning the Rishimuni has stated before the death. That is 9, 10, 11, and 12 house. This all four houses governed with the Jupiter.
Right.
First Jupiter comes, then Saturn, again the Jupiter comes. So here 9 is called Dharma,
Right.
10 is called as Artha, 11th is called as 10th is called a Dharma, ninth is Dharma, then Artha is the 10th, then Kama. Kama means the Kamana, desire. That is the 11th. And then if your deeds reach to the level, you will reach to the moksha. That is the 12th, that is again the Jupiter, which leads you to the moksha. So
Right.
this fourth step of the after the death, what is our ultimate desire is a moksha, to release our soul. So that also a journey pass to the Jupiter Saturn only. So
Right.
here in the Leo, because Leo is a soul, we all know that Leo is a soul. So whatever the knowledge possesses in the soul, that is a Jupiter. So that knowledge possesses inside. But here also there is slightly, you can say it's a defect of activation, because the Saturn is not having a comfort zone. So what happened? You possess so much knowledge. You are aware about so many things. Your soul is also knowing where you have come, why you have come, what is the purpose of life, but still not attending the moksha because Saturn is not here. Your deeds matching action, that matching action with the knowledge and the deeds are not matching here. Possessing the higher knowledge, also displaying because sun is for the display, what you cater to the world, what you show up, there
Right.
is a sun. So you also show your knowledge also, but in reality, it may not be acting in your personal life.
Right.
See, I don't want to give the example, but slightly I can say that there are so many gurus, rishis. They say always, don't do this, don't do that. There are do's and don'ts. They always speak. But in reality, if somebody close to that person, you'll come to know he himself may not be following this
Right.
because he has a knowledge, because he got a chance to display, to PR or to come to the knowledge to the surface. But it doesn't mean that Saturn is also matching with this. Saturn may not be there, Saturn may be missing. And if Saturn is missing, Saturn has no say, means in reality, in actuality, it is not there.
Right.
So it's a better hint for the people who are choosing their guru. Hmm.
Right.
Now, moving further to the Virgo sign, Virgo, now the say of a Saturn will start, where the Jupiter on the double it's an enemy sign, whereas the Saturn has a friendly sign. Saturn has some positive ways in the Jupiter Mercury sign. So here the Saturn has a say. That is why Kanya or the Virgo sign, we always say they are service oriented because
Right.
in the Kalpurusha, they are a sixth house.
Right.
They possess the sixth house. So in Kalpurusha means to serve.
Sir, yeah.
Sixth house is to serve. It's a serving. What your intestine and the liver is doing is serving all this nutrition to entire bodies.
Right.
Whatever you eat, even the rubbish things people eat, that also digests by our intestine and the liver and to spread whole over the body. So this service oriented things are already placed in the Virgo sign. And here the Saturn, who is a master of a service, is a master of service.
Is
So
in
that master of service has placed in the Virgo sign. So here the serving part will be more. Maybe person knowingly, unknowingly doing, but is doing the charity and social
right.
because knowledge is not being fully developed as it's in the enemy sign. Jupiter is in the enemy sign. Maybe he possessed the knowledge and could not express, but in reality, in actuality, in life, you may see that he is following the principle. He is
Right.
applying the principle what he is speaking, right? The Kanya people, the Virgo people doesn't speak as like a Gemini. Gemini people more loud voice
Yeah.
but not actually things.
Right.
Whereas Virgo people less voice but reality is there more.
Sometimes
So
they
here
do
the
things like
really
automatic, like a machine without emotions. Like you are saying that sometimes knowledge is not there, but
yeah
they are doing things. So Saturn
still
is
doing
also like day-to-day
yeah
activities and routine, and Virgo is
yeah
also about routine and day-to-day activities and persistency. So Saturn is more comfortable, and Jupiter, as it
right
sees the bigger, wider picture, and the Kanya
right
Rashi is it's seeing the details, the minor details. So
yeah
the bigger
yeah
picture, Jupiter will not feel comfortable looking at the details like Kanya do.
detailing micro
Virgo Rashi.
right right right. So here the Saturn have a more say and they are more into the practicality, originality rather than only showing the knowledge. That's the difference between the Gemini and the Virgo Jupiter Saturn.
More mature
Now entering,
Mercury is in
yeah,
Virgo, right?
yeah, Virgo in Saturn is more mature. Now considering the Libra, here the Saturn has a upper hand. That's the exalted sign of a Saturn, whereas the Rashi Lord, that's Venus is also supporting the Saturn, and here the Saturn, Jupiter obviously having a less say, as being a neutral sign, it cannot produce the more thing. Now here, if you consider the Kalpurus again, so Kalpurus possessed in the seventh house. This is in the seventh house. So in seventh house, you will see that the Jupiter, as your family life, is always running on the one side, one track. It's
Right.
a fix. It's a fix. You can't make many more changes or experiment. Whereas in the Saturn, if you see the seventh house Saturn, somebody means he is meeting new people.
Right.
Whereas seven house Jupiter means facing same people always. Many people having a Saturn in seventh house, they have daily meeting a fixed number of people, a fixed people. They are facing same because seventh house is not only for the spouse or marriage relation, it's the
It's a
world at large to whom you face
right.
a public appearance. So here the Jupiter already in the Kalpurus also having a less say because that will make you remain your relatives and family, that small circle only. Whereas Saturn gives you daily and new challenges, new peoples. So
Right.
here the Saturn has the upper hand, whereas you have a experience, you have a knowledge, and that you are working also. You are showing. See, people are seeing you. Libra is nothing but the views of the people we call. Aries is you seeing mirror image. You are seeing yourself in the mirror is a Aries. Whereas what people is seeing, what people is seeing you is a Libra sign. So Libra sign, that is why it is a balance. Why the symbol appears as to be balanced means people are seeing. So you will be always balanced. You will not be over and you will not be lower. So
Right.
here the Saturn has a more say, and it will always try to give extra, more, and always bring into the efforts. Whereas a Jupiter possesses the knowledge, but he has very less say. Here the public demand is more. Being a Saturn is a more exalted, so people want you more rather than your knowledge. You yourself is being famous in the society. Many time it happens that people every worldwide people use the Apple phone, but
Right.
only 10%, 5% people know who has made that Apple.
Right.
Stage of many less people know that that is a Saturn.
Right.
Whereas Jupiter always grow, show, and give the cater the things in the larger picture. Whereas only one person is behind that
Right.
who has really put the efforts. Today, whatever the technology, whatever the things we are using, it's only 1% or 2% contribution who has made this reality and the world people are using. So that Saturn is a person behind the reality, real thing that who has put the efforts. Whereas people see as a Jupiter.
Right.
Nobody want to see the Saturn. They
Right.
always want to see the Jupiter. So here that the Jupiter has a lesser power and the Saturn has the upper hand in the Libra. Now talking about the Scorpio here, again the game changed to the Jupiter side. It's a up and down, down. So here the Jupiter has a, at least a sea. Even though it's a watery sign, but still it's owned by the Mars, which is comfortable with the Jupiter. So Jupiter is possessing is a friendly sign, whereas Saturn is not in the friendly sign.
Right.
Here, I see the Scorpio sign is a research. As we see the Kalpurusha again in the 8th house, we see the secrets,
Right.
secret of a life, occult science, where the fear comes. Now, what happened that they are very good in the theoretical position. As a Jupiter is comfortable, the theoretical they might be right, but may not be reached to the real picture of a Saturn because Saturn he is not comfortable here.
Right.
You know, the every year the Nobel Prize is being declared in the science and every field. There's a Nobel award.
Right.
You see there are a population of maybe a million or 10 million scientists may be there. It's only one, two, or maximum three will be selected in the field of science and physics and everything. Only one category, one or two people will be elected. They all are the Saturn people. Saturn with Scorpio. Whereas Saturn with the Jupiter means there are so many scientists, but only out of that, some are being nominated as some higher award. They are the real researcher, we can say, because certain old emphasis is only on the practicality. So here practicality with the research, whereas research with the knowledge, maybe it leads to some conclusion, but it cannot reach to the final result. So here
Right.
Saturn has a, even though Saturn in the enemy sign, somebody, some people who has done so many efforts, in like our Rishi Muni, at that time also there are so many population of a rishi and sages, but we only count few rishi. Why? Because they have done something different in practicality as well as theoretically. It's not only being a theoretical part of a Jupiter, but adding something values in their own life and they possess. Like, not why to go somewhere else where we have a Rishi Parashar. You see the life of a Parasha, you'll come to know he has so many suffering, but still he is one person who has accumulated all the north, south, east, west, all these things he has given the accumulation. Whereas prior to that, all the Saptarishi has given some dimension, like Gemini or the Virgo, they have given some part of our astrology. He has compiled everything and he has given. So that is a real certain person you can see where possess the knowledge as well as he has expressed and applied also. So that's a Scorpio, Jupiter, Scorpio, Saturn combination where some people may go in the exception and reach to the higher position. So that's about the Scorpio. If we see the Sagittarius sign, here obviously the Jupiter having his own house, comfort house, but nevertheless Saturn is also in the neutral sign. It's not in the enemy sign.
Right.
It's a neutral sign. Here you will feel that the Jupiter brings a more comfort level. When you are in your home, you may work, you may not work. So we can't say that
Just comfort
he's being
levels in the comfort zone.
he's being in his own house, then he will be more right. May not be there. Many times we also think that oh, he's so many knowledgeable person he is, but when you come close to him, when you apply his principle, you'll find no, it's only knowledge but not reality, not actual value or actual things. See, there are so many people who gives a secret, who gives rules, regulation, all the kind of experience they have, but all experience doesn't apply to you. Why?
Right.
Because it's a Jupiter given comfortable Jupiter. Here the Sagittarius, the Jupiter level is more on the comfort level that he say, I possess all the knowledge, I have a big library, why I have to go out? But when you go out, you learn something different, what
Right.
you have
In real life,
inside the
in
you.
practical life, right?
Yeah.
So
So it's not only the when you open the book and you know this is all the philosophy and one has to live this type of life and this, and when they go to the reality, when you they face the people, they see the difference. Arey, that's a different knowledge, and here that's a reality is something different.
the real knowledge
So
gives that.
maybe, yeah, maybe the Jupiter is in the comfort level, but Saturn is must. Here it's a neutral. So you will see that when the knowledge doesn't sustain, you'll start acting. So that revival thing, the people having a Jupiter Saturn is possessing. Now for the 3 month we see that the November, December and January, they both are being there in the Sagittarius sign. So you'll see that the people start getting the knowledge and simultaneously try to apply it. So that's a limited period where the both are staying together and then the Saturn will leave. So here as a comfort of a Jupiter, the Saturn has some values because the Jupiter is sleeping
Yeah,
in
sleeping.
the own house. In the own house, it's in the comfort zone. So Saturn has some say to experiment. And that experiment you will see in the next sign, that's a Capricorn. Now, the difference between the Sagittarius and Capricorn is that even though the Saturn in his own house, comfort house, but still it will not allow Jupiter to dominate because Jupiter is, we all know there's a double-headed, but there's again the Neecha Bhang Rajo. And out of so many yoga, I always see and teach the people that yoga made by the planet or yoga made by the houses are more powerful. Here it is made by the houses. What the Neesh Bang Rajyog say that when the planet is seated in the debilitated sign, if some planet is being seated in the same house, here the house is more important, with the same house with the exalted or the own sign. So here, even though Saturn is in the comfort zone, his own house, but still it will not lie down, it will not sleep because he has to lift the Jupiter. He has to lift the Jupiter, no, because he is a person who lifts the Jupiter by anchor. So he is always being alert that he has to uphold his knowledge, he has to uphold his knowledge, he has to make a good amount of knowledge, and that's a benefit of a Jupiter Saturn in the Capricorn. Even though it's debilated, but I like this because it's a niche bang rajyo. What happened to the niche bang rajyo? I done the separate video for that. But niche bang rajyo means those who are already being suppressed, you're pulling him and putting into the kingdom. So that's the best thing the Saturn is performing here for the Jupiter. So you possess the knowledge. What the interpretation or logic to be applied here is that you possess the knowledge, and that knowledge may not be come in the reality, but certain incidents, certain events happens in your life where your real knowledge will be useful. So that lifting of your knowledge, your inbuilt knowledge, will be done by the Jupiter, this Saturn. So that's a beautiful yoga we are going to see for 3 months next year, 2020, and entire year in 2021, where both will be sitting together. So many people, I say that those who are newly married should plan their children during that time, so that the children who comes between that time, that's a plan cesarean, if they plan accordingly. So you can see that they possess the knowledge also, they got experience also, and sometimes their experience will be lifted.
Right.
That has happened in the 2001. In 2000 worldwide, there was a one issue was there, that is a Y2K, how to convert the computer into the triple digit zero, because it can
Right.
only have a 1 0. So
Right.
that problem, what happened that people know that it has been solved by some Indian scientists or Indian
There
IT
was a lot
technician.
of hype at that time, and people were like,
Yeah.
"World is going to end, maybe because computers going, all the computers are going to shut
Yeah.
down, or what? I don't
Yeah.
know, a lot of hype, but nothing
Yeah,
happened."
but what happened that somebody, those who possess the knowledge, because at that time the certain languages of computers are prevailing still in the India, so that has useful. So same thing. That's just an example that you possess the knowledge, and certain incidents, certain events happen where your knowledge will lift so many people. So
Right.
it's like a niche bhang rajyo.
Wow.
From down, you will be pulling to the upper position, and that is why in the Silicon Valley we all see that there are a lot of Indians are there,
Right.
because they worked during that time, and that that been appreciated by the world.
Right.
And again the next sign of Aquarius, where again the Saturn has a more say. It's not only the comfort zone, but it's a real elementary container of a Saturn, because Capricorn is just being merely a own sign, whereas here it's a Mula Trikon sign. For Saturn, it is more and more comfortable house. So possessing so much of a practical experience. We see all the long beard people possessing so many knowledge.
Right.
Maybe their real degree may be something different, because here again the Jupiter is being neutral, as like in the Sagittarius, Saturn was neutral. Here the Jupiter is in the neutral sign. So being in the neutral sign, his knowledge may be a balancer. Neutral means doesn't go positive or negative. That's a neutral. So
Right.
here his knowledge may be a neutral, but his experience, his experiment may be much more higher. So
Right.
maybe possessing 1% of a knowledge and 99% of a experiment you may see in the Aquarius when the Jupiter Saturns are there. So
Right.
that's also a very you may see all the real rishi, or the person with so many social things, like we can say, I'm just giving example. I don't know that position is there in, but Mother Teresa. When the word of a Mother Teresa comes in everybody's life, they know that she's a devotee of the all this charity, social, and everything. Maybe knowledge-wise, he may be possessing some kind of a knowledge, but his 99% was the efforts. 99% was the dedication. The knowledge part was very small, but dedication part was a very high. That's an example. But whenever you see this combination, Aquarius means he maybe possess the knowledge, but he can experiment that till the 99% and achieve the result. So that's a combination. This combination having in the Aquarius sign. And now at the last, when we discuss about the Pisces again, it's a Jupiter own house, and Saturn is in the neutral position as like Sagittarius. But
Right.
Sagittarius, the Jupiter have a more say being as a Mula Trikon. Here Jupiter also having a 30% only. It cannot be rise being as a own sign. It cannot be grow to the 100% because he being a fire, Jupiter, and sign being a water cannot be adjusted. That is why it's merely a own sign, not a Mula
I
Trikon
always
sign.
think of Jupiter in Pisces as like, why Saturn is debilitated in Aries, it's a fire sign, and not in Sagittarius, because the fire is different. The Aries fire
Yeah,
is impulsive and it's, burning fire, but the Sagittarius
yeah,
fire is like a religious ritual fire. And in Pisces is that fire when we put water and we put like the ritual, the religious ritual, it's also the house
yes,
in
yes,
Pisces. So
yeah.
that's why I always feel that that Jupiter fire is that ritual fire, and it's in Pisces
Hmm.
in that water, the holy water we put
Yeah,
in here. So
yeah.
that's why it makes sense
See,
a house of
yeah, in the Hindu mythology, they fire worshipper. They do the
right. Yeah,
Havan, home
yeah.
Havan. And in Christian, you'll see they just spread the holy
Water
water.
and fire. So
So yeah, yeah,
it's
both
related
are
to
the Jupiter based.
rituals too. So
Yes, yes, very very nicely. And in Hindu also, they are praying of water like a Ganga or river.
we
So where
Muslims
they
too,
also take the
we do some,
yeah.
we read some verses. We put like water. We
Okay,
this, and we give it to a person who is ill. They drink it and they feel okay. They are going to be healed then because of
so
God's blessing. So
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
Jupiter
yeah. It's
blessing in water. So it's also
yeah.
water, that kind of water, holy water.
Yes, yes. We call as a Abhimantrit Jal, means which
Yes.
is having the power of all the mantras. So here the in the Pisces where the Jupiter is also comfortable and Saturn being a neutral. So here what happened again? It's a emotional sign. That's Scorpio is an exception in the emotion because their emotion goes extreme, whereas in the Cancer it don't go in the extreme. In the Pisces it don't go in the extreme. Extreme I mean to say negative, to
Negatively.
kill someone or to harm someone. Emotions are there in the Aries. Emotions are inbuilt. In Pisces, emotions are outbuilt. What the outbuilt is meant is they always show the emotion. Maybe they insanely possess or not, I don't know. But they always try to show that they have emotions. Whereas in the Cancer, you'll see that people itself is just so emotion. If you tell something, also they will get feel. So
Right.
here the outward emotions are there with Jupiter and the Saturn. Saturn being lot of controlling things, he tried to pull the person, but the Jupiter has the upper hand. We already discussed. So here what happened? Their emotions goes with the knowledge, with the very less applicability or practicability. So here it happens that the possessing knowledge try to present also very well as is the outer emotions I say, but in reality or in practicality maybe that cannot be applicable. See, applicability depends on the Saturn. Whatever the rules you say, if rules are, see, like a key, I always give the example of a key because all the lock is the Saturn gives the lock. We all know that 12th house is the karak of a lock where
Right.
it lock. So what happened? The all the lock is belong with the Saturn. It's all the purely a Saturn. Where is the key? Whatever the key is there, na, that is also Saturn because it opens the Saturn. That is why it's a part of a Saturn. So
Right.
here the Jupiter is a key. Pisces is a surrounding and Saturn is a lock. They have ability to open the lock because it's a moksha sign. 12th sign, Pisces sign, we all believe is a moksha karak sign. If you have a balance of a emotion, if you possess the knowledge, and if you, being a Saturn neutral, if you also practice some part of knowledge, then the moksha becomes simple. We all learn, we all know how to utter the moksha. We also start journey of a moksha also, but maybe in practicality we may able to put certain things, we may not be able to put certain things of a reality, what the world we are
Right.
living. So that also, at least if you have to climb the 10 steps, it will lead to 3 4 steps. At least your journey has been saved. So that things will happen with the Jupiter Saturn in the Pisces. He will teach you. He possesses the knowledge. He'll give you practical ability with the good emotion outreach, and he'll give you good engagement. So your life journey will become something smooth. So they are the also a good teacher, good reality people or PR kind of a people who will teach you by way of a knowledge or by way of emotion how to utter the act and how to utter your moves. So that beautiful things I can see in the Saturn, Jupiter, in the Pisces.
Right.
The house, it's secondary. When we discuss the sign, that sign has possessed the more weightage.
Right.
If it is in the Kendra Trikona, you will find 100% of a result what we have seen.
Right.
If you found this combination in 2, 3, and 11 house, they are trying because 2, 3, 11 house is called as a kind of a upachaya where they are creating, trying that. But if this combination in the 6, 8, and 12 means they are possessing that much and only utilizing that much, cannot be expand. 6, 8, 12 always restrict you. It will
Right.
always pulling you down. So whatever you possess, you will only contain that much only, and don't try to upgrade, don't try to uphold your things. So that's in general, Kendra Trikon support 2, 3, 11 will try, and 6, 8, and 12 will try to reduce, minimize whatever the qualities we have discussed in the different signs, where it covers the houses also and sign also.
Right. Okay.
So
So
this
like,
much is the journey of a Jupiter Saturn. Now, if anything you want to add, you may also add.
one thing I want to say that in all the houses we are working on something. Like second house, we are working towards finances, our own. Like third house, our communication, and also they say third house try to sell something. Sixth house is
Hmm.
health, competition. So seventh house is public relations. So 12th house, what we are
Hmm.
trying to actually not try anything, not force anything, just to let go. Because when we are
Hmm.
doing sadhana, or we are trying to, just trying to relax,
Hmm.
and we are trying to meditate, they say don't push too hard or don't try to do
Ah,
anything. So trying to
yeah,
do
yeah. Be normal.
nothing, trying to do to let things go, try not to try
Hmm.
to do anything, is actual thing in
Hmm.
12th house. So this is
Yeah.
very important. And also um, in 12th house and also in ninth house too, Jupiter, Saturn are
Hmm.
together. So Jupiter is knowledge, but you cannot
Hmm.
do meditation or sadhana only with knowledge. You have all the knowledge of the world, but you have to, like
Hmm.
the people who actually are they are doing meditation. They wake up early in the morning every day. They pay
Hmm.
attention. They do discipline, persistence in their own breathe, in on they
Hmm.
do in discipline every day. So
Hmm.
here Saturn comes. Like you have to do something persistently, and you have to put effort in there, and you have to do regularly. So
Yeah.
only knowledge will never give you sadhana or meditation or moksha.
Hmm.
You have to put effort
Hmm.
and put discipline. If you are doing meditation, and if you are doing knowledge and also ritual, also meditation, so this combination is very important for sadhana
Hmm.
and being meditation, and also going towards
Knowledge.
spirituality.
Hmm. Yeah.
And one
Very
more
true.
thing I want to add about Jupiter is
Hmm.
one person asked a Sufi sadhu that what is poison, and the Sufi said that anything which is in excess, anything which is too much. So in Jupiter,
Yeah.
if there is too much blind faith or too much comfort, the
Hmm.
person is going to be too much comfort will be sleeping,
Poisonous.
not be able to do anything
Yeah.
in life. So here
Yeah.
Saturn is very important with Jupiter. I think it's a
Yeah.
very
It controls. Yeah. It controls.
it
Right.
controls. Yeah.
Hmm.
So person don't go to any extreme.
Yeah.
Don't
Make
go
you
too
on the
much
path. Right.
in a blind faith. and don't do anything. Like the person will start thinking about consequences. It's very important. If we're thinking about karma and consequences, then we are going to think that, okay, I will not just sit and read. I will participate in life actively. I'll be I'll have an aim and a purpose in life, and
Right.
yeah, and I have a commitment towards something. So commitment means
Right.
just not the faith, but commitment means working towards something wholeheartedly or religiously. So this combination is actually very important for this. So
Yes.
thank you, sir. You teach a lot today, and thank you.
Yeah, viewers also will get a maximum benefit.
Yes,
And certainly we should come together where true knowledge will included, and the people will get more benefit.
yes,
Surely we'll come out with the new subject very soon.
yes. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Namaste.
Namaste.